You're listening to Short Inspirations from Ralph. Love Touches the Untouchable, Part 4. This podcast series revolves around the miracle in Mark chapter 1 when Jesus healed a leper, cleansed a leper. After the leper asked him if he was willing, Jesus went beyond what he needed to and touched the leper when he clearly didn't have to. But he wanted us to understand something about what I call the miracle of the touch. It's that Jesus was willing to share another person's suffering in order to bring about healing. As a rabbi, he put himself at a clear disadvantage with the other rabbis and many people around him. I've heard of missionaries in years gone by who have gone out amongst the lepers and been willing to die in order for them to be saved. I've heard of missionaries that have actually caught leprosy themselves, lived among them and died as a leper. Although these lepers, of course, were eternally saved. It's incredible. In a sense, the world is like an antique shop. There are thousands of unique and priceless and fragile items on display every day. You and I walk through God's antique shop. All the antiques are people that are out there, and they have a tag on them, and on the tag is priceless. And the tag says that these unique antiques can be purchased with the blood of Jesus Christ. There are thousands upon thousands, millions of unique, priceless and fragile items on display. And every day we brush up against these items of incalculable worth to Him. My last point in this episode, that love infects and spreads. I love this. No one would touch a leper in their right mind, because the touching of a leper meant possibly getting infected with leprosy. But the leper did not infect Jesus with leprosy. Jesus infected the leper with life. I call it the immaculate infection. Against overwhelming odds, Jesus, the author of life, came up against an incurable disease. The author of light, the Prince of Light, the author of restoration and healing, came and met up with darkness and disease and corruption and death. And when those two clash, you have all sorts of things happen. It's a wee bit like that funeral procession in the Gospels when the widow was going out with her dead son. It was a procession of death. But then Jesus and his disciples and his followers were coming another way, and they were destined to clash. The collision of life and death, and life won. One of the examples in the Bible of this infection is, or this spreading, is of yeast. It can be looked at in a negative way, and it is, but there is a positive way of looking at it. A little tiny bit of bundle of yeast can infect the dough and go right through. And I guess I'm saying that when we walk through this earth and brush against unique, priceless antiques, then we become little bundles of love that you carry around with you, and you infect other people. Just be patient and give it time, like yeast and dough to make bread. But keep on walking in the light, because something will happen. The immaculate infection will take place. And I hope that this series has given you hope with people you work alongside, you play with, you study with, your family, your neighbours, all sorts of people. You can be that little bundle of love that carries God's love and infect others. Isn't that beautiful? The darkness doesn't stand a chance. The secret to spiritual life is not to isolate yourselves from sin and suffering. That would be impossible even if we wanted to. Jesus lived on the same contaminated planet as the rest of us, but prevailed, and light won over darkness. So instead of being infected, we infect the world with His love. God bless you.